Okay, so it's Sunday and we are already at Geek Retreat because I did not film this intro at home.
What?
And there's Matt. Check out his channel as well. So get that shameless plug in. We'll do it. So today we are trying our most competitive deck we've ever built, which is of course Chimera, Azamina, Fiendsmith. I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. I do expect a lot of misplays, so please, if you see something I've done wrong or something I could have done better, let me know in the comments below. But I will catch you guys after round one because I need to go get registered and I need to sort my deck out a little bit because I've had to borrow some cards for the day. But I will catch you guys after round. Okay, so it is now Tuesday, 2 days after the fact. So I didn't get around to filming this on Sunday because when I got home from locals, honestly I just wanted to chill out and not worry about this. And then yesterday was a hell of a day. My daughter decided to get us up at 3 in the morning, so it came around to having time to sit and record. I was just too tired, to put it simply, more tired than normal. So here we are doing it on Tuesday. So I've already filmed the introduction at Geek Retreat on Sunday. I've got some snippets of gameplay as always. However, I don't have anything for round 4 and 5. No, round 3 and 4. And yeah, I'll go over why that is as we get to those rounds. But just for the intro as well, thanks to MPEC Cards, David and Wally, we have the 2-player starter set to give away. So we have our second channel giveaway. If you're interested in joining this one, it can be posted to anywhere within the UK. And just to show you, it is still sealed. So you will get Zeus and all the other cards that come in here. Yeah, so if you're interested in joining this giveaway, then please, by all means, follow MPEC over on Instagram and then just comment on this video saying done. It's that simple. Everyone who literally types the word done will be entered in the giveaway, which I will announce in next week's video. And then I will message to get information in order to send it out to you. But yeah, so let's get on with the actual footage here. So round 1, so this week was our first week on Fiendsmith, Azamina, Chimera, Fiendsmith, Azamina. I did not play the deck well. A lot of this falls down to me as a player rather than the deck. There was a few questionable deck building choices. I added cards which maybe there were better options, such as Silhouette Rabbit. I really do like Rabbit, but in this build it is a win more card rather than an extender like it was in the Chimera build. And I feel that's where I was going wrong. I was still trying to play the deck as I would Chimera, and you can't do that. It is a completely different feel, even though Chimera is still the basis of the deck. So I'm fully aware a lot of it was player control. So I do apologise about that. Round 1, though, we got paired against Mark. As you know, I love Mark. I think he's fantastic and I love playing against him. And he was on Snake Eye Fiendsmith, Azamina. So yeah, uphill battle from the get-go. Round 1, I lost the dice roll. Mark went full combo. I unfortunately opened no hand traps and I only opened the Chimera package. As such, Mark went full combo. I normal summoned Gazelle. He negated. I scooped. There was nothing more I could have done. We don't have Typhon in our extra deck, and even if we did, it would not have made any difference. So that was game 1. So now what you're going to see here is game 2, where we've done some siding, and let's see how we can do against Snake Eye Fiendsmith Azamina. And I will catch you guys afterwards. Okay, so here we are against Mark. Like I said, we should be going first if I've remembered this correctly. We've already lost 1 game to Mark, and our opening hand isn't fantastic, but we do have access to both the Azamina and the Chimera packages. Oh, sorry, Mark is going first here. Okay, so I can't remember now if this is game 1 or game 1 or game 2. This might actually be game 1 that I've done here instead, and if that's the case I do apologise because I have already spoilt that, but let's see it play out anyway, just so you can all see what we can do here. So Mark opened Bonfire, activated it to add Snake Eye Ash, which then he's normal summon to activate Snake Eye Ash, which then searches for Snake Eye Popular. As you saw in my hand, I've got 0 hand traps, which is fine. It is what it is. I just want to see, I could just scoop here because we all know Snake Eyes, if they've got access to Ash and Popular, they're going full combo. But I want to see, I just want to see what his end board is, how Mark plays the deck, what his thoughts are behind it all. Because every person will play the deck slightly different, but based on their information and their knowledge. So I just want to see what they can do. So I'll just let it go. Let's play it out. We've got the time on the clock. So obviously Snake Eye Ash, Bonfire search for the field spell. I believe it's called Temple. And then Temple's activated and he's set the Snake Eye Diabell Star in the back row. He's then pitched Fiendsmith Engraver to add Track to hand. Track is, he's got full combo like I said, but then he's also got the Fiendsmith package on top, which is just great. Then he adds Track, which allows him to add a Light Fiend, but then he has to discard the Light Fiend, so he adds Lorry, discards the Lorry, which then triggers the Lorry, so then he can special summon Lorry. And then here he links Lorry off into Requiem, and then he can quick effect tribute the Requiem to special summon a Fiendsmith monster from deck, which I believe he now does here to spec out the Lacrima. That's its name, Lacrima. So specs Lacrima, doesn't activate the Lacrima effect because Engraver's already engrave. But then he can go ahead here, activate the Engraver, shuffling back the Lorry into the deck to spec out the Engraver. So Mark says he's just going to shuffle after every time because apparently he's forgot to do it a few times. So this is his way of just remembering to do it. But he links into Sequence and then Sequence effect to shuffle back in 3 Light Fiends into the deck or extra deck, 2 Fusion Summons. So he shuffles back in the Engraver, the Lacrima and the Requiem into the extra deck, so he can go ahead and spec out the Desiree. Now from here he now links he activates Snake Eye Ash to send to in order to spec out, I believe he specs Oak here, let's see if I remembered correctly, because you can spec out a Snake Eye monster. So there's Oak, so he goes ahead and specs out Oak just to get that ball rolling. And Oak effect to spec back the Snake Eye Ash, then he activates the Oak effect, sending the Sequence along with Oak to get Flamberge. So and here is Flamberge, and now the Sequence is in the grave, so you can activate the Sequence effect to equip it to the Desiree. But before he does that, he links 2 off here, the Flamberge and the Poplar into the IP. Flamberge will trigger here, specking back 2 level 1 monsters, and Popular will trigger to push a monster from the graveyard into the back row. So that's it, he's got full combo, and I just enjoy watching it work. It is one of those things where my opponent's not feeling any pressure. They know I've got no interruption, because if I had Nib, I definitely would have dropped it before Princess came out and all the rest of it. So he knows he's completely uninterrupted here, so he can just go off, do what he needs to do. Interestingly enough though, he hasn't activated the Sequence yet to equip to the Desiree, because he does that in other game. He actually uses the Desiree to negate his own Fire Princess, so then he's not fire locked, which I thought was really clever and funny to do. And it's that sort of ingenuity that I like to see, which is why I don't always scoop. If I've got the time on the clock, I will try and play it out. Here he sets one, and I believe he goes to pass and then remembers at sequence. So then he goes ahead and equips the sequence to the Desiree. So, as you can see, he's got the Desiree negate. He's got the Princess to pop a special summon and the Fire Monster, along with the ability to pull up the IP to quick link there as well. So we ditch a Chimera Fusion to spec out our Princess to just try and get something going or to bait, and he has an imperm. Not like it was needed, but he has an imperm. So I summon Gazelle, I attempt to activate the Gazelle effect here. He still has the Desiree effect, negate, which he lets through, I think. No. So he's really not sure what he wants to do, because he knows he wants to get the IP up to go into the SP as well, but he's really not sure if the Gazelle's worth letting it go through or not. But no, he decides to do the Desiree negate and put a stop to me there. So, and then he goes ahead, activates the Flamberge on resolution to pull up. So all I can do now is link 2, which is either SP or Silhouette Rabbit. I've got the trap in hand. Unfortunately, I did draw it, which wasn't the best thing in the world, but and Rabbit's not exactly going to do much for me here either. But then neither's SP. It's a tough one. Yeah, so we scoop it up, and that's that. Okay, so unfortunately I told you the wrong information. That was game 1, not game 2. But as you saw there, full combo Snake Eye deck board with the Fiendsmith package. I forgot I had Witch as well, but it was just more than enough negates. So it is what it is at the end of the day. You have good hands, you have bad hands. And like I said, there's a few cards I haven't built optimally. There's things which, if I had built the deck optimally, I wouldn't have drew the Angel statue in my hand. I can't remember if that's what I drew for turn or not. If I'll need to watch that back. Literally just watched it 60 seconds ago. But either way, yeah, that could have been a hand trap or something else which could have been beneficial in that moment. And like I said, that's on me. I have to take responsibility for that. But even still, I don't believe I would have played through that board based on my hands. But you never know. Mark did then go on and win the second game as well. I managed to do some Chimera combo, but that was about it. Mark very quickly shut that down with a couple of hand traps, and then just OTK the Snake Eyes do. So yeah, starting off with a loss, but it is what it is. I'm sorry if I keep saying that. Let's try and stop saying that from now. And we move into round 2. So round 2, we actually got paired up. So cool. And we got paired up against Aaron, which again, lovely guy. Like playing against Aaron. Not liking the deck he was on, which is again Snake Eye, Fiendsmith, Azamina. And again, I lose the dice roll. So Aaron takes game 1 pretty convincingly, and what you are going to see here is definitely game 2. So I'm going to show you game 2 now. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can pull back a win and hopefully win round 2. But let's find out. Okay, so take 2 of trying to record this. I did accidentally end the recording somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but it is what it is. Let's go again. So we are in game 2 here. Aaron did win game 1. He is on the Snake Eye Fiendsmith Azamina, and he did pretty much go full combo. So as such, we get to go first, and my initial thought was to discard the Sinister Necron in order to spec out the Nightmare Apprentice, which realistically is most probably the better option, because if my opponent did have the draw, which sets, so I could have still done that anyway, and still just had Deception up. Yes, fine, I could have added the Hallowed Azamina off it, but I could have still had Deception and Witch on the field. So, you know, here, having the Hallowed Azamina is where he could have drawed. I have 0 negate, 0 interaction up. So, yeah, maybe getting that the Chimera line online first may have been the better option. But we go for Yugioh, if that's the correct way of pronouncing it. Who knows? I'm very terrible with punctuations, so I do apologise. Here I've got a Dredge Call, so I have had to go up and have a look. And the Dredge Call here was quite an interesting one. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't 100% sure, and I'm still not. So if anybody watching actually knows the rulings, like for example Matt and Adam, I know you both you guys watch these videos for me, I'm much appreciated. So maybe you guys might know the actual official ruling here. So turn player has an Xyz monster on field, which states cannot be used as Xyz material, and he's trying to summon Typhon. So does it go to the next highest attack, or is it just a case of he can't summon it? What I ended up ruling was it goes to the next highest attack. Reason why I've landed on that decision was purely and simply tokens can't be used as Xyz material. So if Nibiru token is on the field and that has the highest attack, you do use your second highest attack monster, so your official monster with the highest attack. So there is a bit of precedence there of things not being able to be used as Xyz material, and then it going to the second one. So that's the train of thought I ended up with, and that's what we've gone with. Obviously, if that's wrong, please do let me know in the comments down below, and then therefore we can make sure that that ruling gets rectified moving forwards. But yeah, but this did also throw off my flow a little bit, because you'll see here I already have the Sinful Spoil Trap in hand, which I completely forget, even though I just literally looked at it, you just saw it there, but I completely glossed over it. So I actually start digging through my deck looking for the trap, which I'm not going to find because it's in my hand. So good fun there. I finally realised it's in my hand through the second flick through. I pick up my hand and see it's not there, so I just grab a copy I wanted. And here I make the decision to activate the wanted to grab another copy of Witch. I could have just discarded the wanted for Nightmare Apprentice, but I want to thin the deck out. I don't really want to top deck another Witch. So I decided just to pull one out. Do apologise about any background noise you hear. This office is not soundproof. But yeah, so we go ahead and grab another copy of Witch, and then we discard the Witch in order to spec out the Nightmare Apprentice. Now, I am a little worried about Nibiru. I am worried that that could come down on me. But the way Aaron's cards are set, the way he's just like having a drink casually, makes me think he doesn't have Nib. But that was a stupid search there for me as well. I should have got the Cornfield Kotal, not the Mirror Sword Knight. That was stupid. I could have got Kotal into rotation as well. But we link off into Cross Sheep, so we can activate the Hallowed Azamina, shuffling back in the Muratio. Then yeah, we're ditching the trap card here in order to spec out the Ilia Sylvia, or however that's pronounced, as the Omni Negate. So we do now have an Omni Negate up, which is always nice. I don't want that point into... I should have put it at Cross Sheep, because then as I normal summon the Mirror Sword here, you know, and then activate the Mirror Sword to then grab Kotal and whatever else, yeah, I could trigger it straight away to get the Mirror Sword back, instead of doing the bit of mental gymnastics a little bit later in the turn to try and make that happen. Like I said, I should have grabbed the causal, then the causal to grab the mirror sword. That was a massive misplay on my part to get that target negate into rotation. But we do activate the Sinister Necron to spec out the Adusted Gold, and then activate the link off the Adusted Gold into Requiem. Requiem effect tribute for cost to spec out the Lacrima, which is, I believe, actually top of the deck. Oh no, there it is. Lacrima, and then Lacrima effect to Foolish the Engraver. Then we activate the Engraver, shuffling back the Adusted Gold into the deck to spec itself. Excuse me. Now we link 2 off into sequence, and then we activate the sequence, shuffling back the Lacrima, the Engraver, and the Requiem in order to go into Desiree. Or I believe it's pronounced Desiree. We'll go with Desiree, sounds better. But then we link them both off into the link 3 Fiendsmith Agmundi. This is a win more card. This card is not needed, but I trigger the Agmundi here to spec back the Desiree, and then equip itself, giving it 600 attack for each link rating currently on it, as well as giving it piercing damage. Then we activate sequence to equip as well, and making Desiree untargetable. And then we go ahead and normal summon the Mirror Sword, which then we tribute, because now we don't care if we fusion lock ourselves, so we go into the Baphomet here. And then Baphomet will trigger, grabbing us the Chimera Fusion and Gazelle. And then here we activate Chimera Fusion, fusing off. And again, yeah, there we go, into the Chimera. So here we've got a nice chain link of chain 1 Gazelle to add, chain 2 Burfo to spec. We can't activate the call sheet because we don't have space. We're out of space. And then we get the hand rip as well from the Chimera. So we spec that back, and then we go ahead and grab causal, which again, here I could have actually grabbed another Nightmare Apprentice for later on instead of grabbing causal. So we do have causal into rotation, but our hand is definitely worse for it. And here now, the smart thing would have been to actually activate the Chimera Fusion, not set it. And the reason why that is because if I activated the Chimera Fusion, I could have fused off the Nightmare Apprentice with the Chimera for the Baphomet Fusion, Foolished a Beast Fiend or Illusion Monster. So let's just say, I don't know, Foolish the other Mirror Sword Knight. But because it then spec'd it into the Big Wing zone, the Big Wing could have then brought back the Gazelle I sent to Graveyard. The Gazelle would have then triggered and activated, adding another copy of Chimera Fusion, which then I could have set. So it would have got another copy of Chimera Fusion out into rotation, along with giving us the additional body as well, because then I could have activated the Chimera to banish it, to spec back a Beast Fiend or Illusion Monster in my graveyard. You know, so there's definitely things there which I could have done better. But anyway, on our opponent's turn, Aaron discards the Engraver to summon the Witch. I go ahead and Mirror Sword Knight the Witch effect, but it turns out he hasn't wanted in hand. He tried to activate it, but you can't do that. You can't activate wanted, because I've got the quick play. I've got the Deer Bells on field, and then here he just summons Witch over Witch. I've just realised he's done that. I don't know if he can do that. I need to read Witch if that's the case, because I'm sure Witch is level 7, and level 7 requires 2 tributes unless there's something special about Witch summoning condition. So not really sure what's happened there. Bear with me. No, absolutely not. Which is a 2 tribute monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 stars. So I have no idea how he tributed Witch for Witch. Sure. Let's allow some soft cheating. But also I'm an absolute idiot as well. If people haven't noticed, like I said, I did not really have great meh with this deck, because I've got the Sinful Spoils trap right there, which I should have set. If I set that, it's a special monster Book of Moon. Also, Deception should reset itself during the end phase of my turn. So again, just chucking away those free resources, you know what I mean? It's not good. But here we go. We pop 2. I leave them with a wanted quick play, because honestly, I can just negate the Witch. The Gazelle now resolves, grabbing us the Chimera Fusion. Our opponent really cannot do a whole lot. Looking at the board I've built and the board I can go into, I'm really not surprised that Apollosa did get banned, because I could have turned that Cross Sheep into Apo before Fusion locking myself, and had the Apo, the Omni Negate, the Desiree, and then the Chimera stuff, and that would have been absolutely fucking ridiculous. So he activates the Sinful Spore spell, which allows him to put Witch on the bottom of the deck, and then add Poplar, and then Poplar will trigger to spec itself, which we just negate by giving up the Ilia Sylvia. So he normal summons Snake Eye Ash. Right, honestly, there's not really much more our opponent can do. We still have the Desiree negate, we still have the target negate. You know, there's not much our opponent can do. He activates the field spell, and again, I explained, you can't just activate it, you have to set it. And of course, we pop the Gazelle along with the field spell, and that's where our opponent just scoops it up. He's like, yeah, cool. So we move into the all-important game 3, and let's have a look, see how we do there. And there I'm just pointing out all the idiot mistakes I've made, of things I could have added in, like the trap and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, we live and learn, and hopefully this week we will be better with the deck after some more testing. Okay, so there we just saw game 2. Was actually able to take a game against Snake Eye Fiendsmith Azamina. I set up a really good strong board, not in the most optimal way. There was definitely things that I could have improved upon, and actually remembered my end of turn effects a lot better than what I did. But I was happy that that was enough to kind of stop him. However, I do feel against other people that might not be enough. Oh, why is my phone slipping? And that's nothing against Aaron. Just like I said, everyone plays the deck differently. But at this point in the day, I was a bit because going up against the best deck in the format 2 rounds in a row. And then for game 3, Aaron went first, and again I opened a singular hand trap, which unfortunately was just not enough to stop Aaron from absolutely decimating me. But again, we live and learn. There's definitely misplays I've made there, and like I said, hopefully this week when we go, we can definitely do better. Moving into round 3, we got paired against Brendan, who was on Centurion. Unfortunately, just as the pairings went out, Brendan had to drop because he had to go to work. So we essentially got a bye for that round, which, not gonna lie, kind of happy about, based on how we were playing that day and Centurion. I don't know if we would have won that game. I like to think we would have. I'd like to think we'd win most games, but that's just not always reality. And like I said, so sad for Brendan that he had to drop, but kind of lucky for me at the same point, because that did give me my first win of the day. And then we took a break and we moved into round 4. Round 4 I got paired against Josh on Dynamorphia. Josh unfortunately was not feeling too well that day. I don't know if it was just extremely bad hands or if it was the way Josh was feeling, so he didn't play as optimally as he could have, which is understandable, we've all been there. But I actually won that dice roll, which was lovely. Nice to actually win a dice roll. And I set up pretty much the same board that you saw there against Aaron. He set 4 and passed. My turn, he went to activate a singular trap, which I negated, and then took the game. Game 2, he set 4 and passed. I went to activate saying, can he Solemn Warning, half his life points, and then I just went full combo anyway, and took the game very quick, very easily. He did not summon a single monster both games. That's why there's no footage of it. I did record it, but it just was not good gameplay. It was just me comboing for like 10 minutes and then taking the game. So I hope Josh feels better. I hope he's doing alright, and hopefully we can play again this weekend come in where he's feeling, more optimally himself. And then we move into round 5. Round 5 we are 2-2 at this point, and we get paired up against David, which I absolutely love playing David. David is of course on his Goblin list, Goblin Fiendsmith. I lose the dice roll, surprise, and game 1 goes how every other game 1 has gone today. I get absolutely slapped down. So we move into game 2, and that's what I'm going to show you here. I don't know what it is about game 2s, I like to show game 2s more than any other game. But here is game 2, so I hope you enjoy, and we can hopefully do something. I sided out an Ash Blossom, a Cornfield Coatal, and one other random card. I think I actually sided out the Rabbit Trap because I thought it's not going to be needed as much. And I sided in 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier, just so I could collect these and hopefully slow him down. But yeah, here is game 2, and I will see you guys afterwards. Okay, so here we are in the last round of the day. We're up against David and we're going first. Now, opening the double apprentice is never great, but at least it gives me an easy card to discard. And starting off, he throws down one of these Fluffalo things. And I was a bit like, and then it's like, I've got Ash Blossom in my hand, what the fuck am I doing? I discarded it, and then I was like, whoa, no, hang on, I've got Ash here, Ash counters that, right? And he was like, yeah, Ash counters that, and I was like, cool. Now we discard the Apprentice to Spec Apprentice, which now triggers. I've already got a Gazelle in hand, so if I'm smart, if my brain's still working at all, we grab the Coatal and then we discard the Coatal to grab the Berthamut. Let's see if that's what happens here. Now there's nothing on resolution, which is wonderful. I have no idea why I am taking my time. It's a very easy thing here. We discard the Coatal. We do not currently have access to our Fiendsmith line or our Azamina line, so all we can do here is full Chimera stuff. But interestingly enough, what we could do here is normal summon the Gazelle, which I believe is what we do. Yep, Gazelle will activate, grabbing us the Chimera Fusion. We then Chimera Fuse off the Berthamut and the Nightmare Apprentice to go into the Berthamut Fusion monster, which allows us to Foolish. So chain 1 will be Big Wing Berthamut Engrave to bring back the Nightmare Apprentice. Chain 2 will be the Berthamut Fusion to Foolish, or whichever way round. And what we do here is we actually Foolish the Sinister Necron, because that is a Fiend, which then puts us into our full Fiendsmith lineup, which is absolutely lovely. Yeah, so there we go, there's the Sinister Necron, and then we can go ahead here. Link 2 off for the Cross Sheep, and then we can go ahead, activate the Sinister Necron, bashing it to spec out the Adusted Gold. because we've already got Gazelle in the grave, we've got no issue triggering Cross Sheep straight away because our level 4 is already there. So here comes the Adusted Gold, and now Cross Sheep will trigger, specking back the Gazelle. Now we've already used the Gazelle on summon effect, so we can't get that, but it is just nice to have that additional body if we choose to link off or do something else with it. But now we can link one into Requiem, and then you guys have seen this like 10 times already in this video. We quick effect tribute, spec the Lacrima effect to Foolish, the Engraver effect, shuffle back the Adusted Gold, spec itself, then we link 2 into Sequence effect, shuffle back the Lacrima, the Engraver and the Requiem to make Desiree, link 3 Desiree and Sequence into Agmundi effect, spec back the Desiree and re-equip, and then equip itself and then activate Sequence to equip itself there. Now obviously that's a whole lot of stuff. I can't remember if that's exactly what I do, but this is what I should be doing. So here comes the Desiree now. Also, I have just kind of listed off this whole combo in advance because it's easier to say than it is to do. Here comes the Agmundi, and then the Agmundi bring back the Desiree, equip itself, and then there's the Sequence effect. Very nice. Okay. Now, we should activate the Chimera Fusion to it back to hand. This is one error that I made here. I linked those 2 off into Cross Sheep. Should have done that. Like I said, I have taken the trap out, which I realised as soon as I put Cross Sheep down. But what I could have done instead, put the rabbit down, and then I'll go ahead and set the Chimera Fusion. What I could have actually done there, though, was activate the Chimera Fusion, fusing off the Gazelle and the Berthamut Fusion into the standard Chimera Fusion to get a hand rip during the end phase of my opponent's turn, because he did just use one singular hand trap, so therefore we could have ripped a card, and then the Bertho would have already been engraved to activate the effect to spec itself back. But again, now we do have an Illusion and a Fiend on field for the Chimera play. Or I can use the Desiree here to shuffle itself back in and pop a card, which I'm really thinking about doing, targeting the Chimera Fusion. I believe it shuffles and then pops. I believe this is what, I'm just double checking here with the reading. Because you target a card, you shuffle it in, and then you can pop. So I shuffle in the Sequence to target the back row, but then the call by happens, and all of that was cost, so Desiree gets banished, which is absolutely fine. I do not care that Desiree got banished, because Berthamut can just spec it back from the banish zone. But, like I say, if I did the Chimera Fusion, I may have ripped that Lava Golem out of his hand. We don't know. We honestly don't know. That could have happened. And then he would have been one less card. You know, as you see here, you know, he's done the triple attacks, he's doing the E-Telly. He's still able to pop off and get things going. So he's E-Tellied out the virtual world Yang, on one side that thing's called. When he activates the Goblin Quick Play spell, you give up a monster to spec out a Goblin monster. But then also as well, if we did the Chimera play, we could have banished the Chimera now, spec back any Beast Fiend or Illusion from the grave, and then banish the Berthamut to spec back the Chimera to keep the Sword Knight and Kotal alive. I'm fully aware Sword Knight's not in grave, but just saying that's another play. Doug Charger activates here, and Yang specs itself back. Thankfully, we did call that D barrier to lock him out of the Xyz plays, or otherwise, I don't think I would have survived this turn, to be perfectly honest with you. But we did flip that D barrier. We did call Xyz. He is locked out of Xyz, which he did forget for a second there, as you saw. he went to overlay, and I was just like, yeah, you can't exceed, and he was like, oh yeah, you're right. So very easy to forget standard floating effects like that. So just always be mindful of them. Always make your opponent aware if they are under some form of restrictions, because at the end of the day, it is down to both of you to maintain the correct game state. So he goes ahead here and he activates the spell card. I always get their names mixed up, but this spell card basically allows him to make both of his goblins either the same level, or he can add their levels together. So he can either make them both level 6, make them both level 3, or he can make them both level 9. And then he goes ahead and powers each up for 600 attack per goblin. So they're both currently powered up by 1200. And he attempts to move to the battle phase, and I was like, no, at the end of main, we're going ahead here and activating Chimera Fusion, fusing off into the Azamina Soul, because it does require an illusion and a fiend, and a fiend is all the requirement Chimera Fusion requires. So we are good to go with that, and we go ahead and we send Doug Charger back to the graveyard, just to get rid of that, because I know his other biker can't attack, and that Yang Yang is in defense mode. So this gives me the best opportunity of surviving, even if it is leaving the bigger monster on the field. So we send that Doug Charger back. He goes to move to the end phase. We banish the Baphomet and bring back the Desiree. I'm not sure if that was the right move or not, because I've got no way of equipping anything to the Desiree. The Agmundi has to be on the field to activate here. So I need to get a light fusion back on the field. Technically I have a light fusion, so like if I thought about this properly, this is actually quite simple, because what you can do here is you link the Desiree off for the Requiem. Then you trigger the Requiem to spec up the Lacrima. Lacrima will send the Engraver. The Engraver will shuffle back the Desiree in order to spec itself. Then you go in sequence. Sequence will shuffle the first 3 back. And then you've got the Desiree back out with the sequence attached. So there's definitely a way around. Like I said, this was my first proper outing with this deck. I have made a lot of rookie mistakes. As you just seen there, like, I'm just fusing it off. I'm just like, cool, yeah, fuck you. Like, just fully, just no shits given there whatsoever. I just fused it off, because it is a fiend at the end of the day, so therefore it is a material for the Chimera. So we're going to chain 1 Chimera to Sexual Illusion, chain 2 Desiree to target a light fiend in the grave, shuffle it back, and then pop a card on the field, and then chain 3 Chimera. So David does say I have to pick my targets, and I was like, okay, cool. Didn't think that's the case, but I've got no issue going with that, because my target will not change regardless. I'm shuffling in the Agmundi, and I'm going to pop the spell card at the back. So Chimera Resolve, rip a card, Agmundi goes back, there goes the spell, and then the Chimera, and then the Gazelle will add an illusion to my hand. So I should grab a Kotal. Actually, I believe I end up grabbing this, which is a mistake. I do not have a wanted spell or trap currently in the grave, as I'm about to realise here. So there you go. I should have checked the grave if I wasn't sure. Like I said, I've made so many errors and so many simple mistakes. So let this be a learning curve, that just because you have a good deck doesn't mean you're going to win. You actually need to learn your deck. I should have had the full Fiendsmith combo out. I definitely shouldn't have grabbed this card. I should have linked into Rabbit. I've made so many mistakes here. My first turn board should have been so much stronger than what it was, but it wasn't. And then here, all I can do now is fuse off all 3 into a Guardian Chimera to pop 2 and draw 1. Well, draw 1, pop 2, because you draw first, and you have to draw. You don't have to pop. Remember that. So Guardian Chimera's full effect is ashable. So as such, I draw my 1 card, and then I pop 2. And the card I just drew is Mirror Sword Knight, and because I've already normal summoned, I can't do fuck all with it. I can't banish the Chimera to spec anything until my opponent's turn, but like I should have had the Desiree out with 2 negates. And I'm passing on a Guardian Chimera. Like, absolutely ridiculous. We go odds evens, we rip a card. We rip the other spell, which is nice. David's down to 2 cards in hand, and he's got a 3300 body to try and punch through. During the standby, we go ahead and activate the Chimera here to banish it for cost, to spec out the Diabells, just so I've got that floodgate effect for spells and traps. Now, I have no clue what's in his hand, but he goes ahead, summons the Clat Spider, and the Clat Spider does get 1 back from the grave. I've got no interruption, I've got no way of stopping any plays. All I can do is stop his spells and traps, stop his quick play spells, and hopefully it's enough. So he goes ahead and brings back the I can't remember its English name, but its name was Big Ass Biker, which allows him to spec 1 from deck, which he gets the Mean Merciless, and then he overlays into the Big Gabonga. Yeah, that's it. Big Gabonga. And then which allows him to grab another goblin. Which he grabs the boom mech, and by detaching 1 he can spec the boom mech, and then because a material was detached he can suck up a card, so he sucks up my Guardian Chimera. I was like, cool, there goes my big body, just what I want. And then he can banish the spell in order to detach 1 to add 1 back to hand. So yeah, it's not going well. That's for sure. And I was like, okay, cool, what's next then? Typhon? So you're going to go Typhon here and just bounce my last monster? And David's like, maybe. He's checking his hand, having another flick for his extra deck, seeing what he can do. And he goes into the Water Xyz thing. He detaches 1, which allows him to search for the trap card, which allows it to rank up and then equipped an Xyz. And then Mean Merciless effect, detach 1 to spec itself, which then he now has 2 level 3s on the field for. Doug Charger allows it to spec and then search for a spell, or I think Doug Charger the spell. Yep, says the quick play spell. Now obviously you can't activate the quick play spell yet because I do still have Diabells in defence. So he's having a flick for his graveyard. Not entirely sure why. I don't think he's got anything in grave he could do here. Picks up the extra deck again. Overlays 3 for the Azora King. And I was like, cool, he's got game. Because Azora King can attack up to the number of materials, and it gains 200 attack for each time it attacks. So the first attack will do 2100. So even if you use that to punch over my Diabells, second, it'll go up to 23, then it'll go 25, and then 27. Then he's got the Goblin, which can attack for 27, and then he's just Xy'd out Batman, which can attack for 3k, I believe. So he's got game on field. As you saw, we should have done a whole lot more than what we did, but at the end of the day, is what it is. And as I will try not to say that again, but hopefully next week we will do so much better with this. There we have it. Round 5, we lost 2-0. Like I said, I made some terrible mistakes this week. The first 2 rounds kind of deflated me a little bit. It did tilt me. I haven't been tilted in quite a while, so it was definitely interesting to experience being tilted again, and I really struggled to shake it off. Like, it did put a damper on my day, but at the end of the day, we are trying to get better at this game, and that means also controlling that element of it as well. So my phone's deciding to fall again. I thought I fixed this issue previously, but it looks like it is back. But yeah, So, unfortunately, like I said, I did tilt myself. I had a chat with Adam and Matt during the break, and they gave me some good words of advice, which I'm going to put into play this week coming. Like I said, I am going to be doing a lot more deck testing this week. I've got some guys coming over Thursday to deck test with, which will be very, very nice and helpful. And I'm going to make some tweaks to the deck that both Adam and Solomon have suggested, and see how that does. We did end this week on a negative result. We went 2-3 or X3, and both of our wins realistically have an asterisk next to them. One dropped and one was poorly. So on any other week, who knows, maybe we could have actually gone X5, which would have been absolutely awful. But that's it for this video. I'm going to stop rabbiting on. The deck profile of the deck I have currently built and how it was for this week is going to go up over on TikTok. That might already be up by the time this is uploaded, so if you've already seen it, great, go watch it again, give me more views, pump it through the algorithm. If not, go check it out, leave a comment on what you would change, just to see if it kind of ties in with what we're thinking for next week. But with all that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this week. Like, share, with a friend who you think might enjoy this video as well, and subscribe. We're over 100 subscribers. Let's try and get to 150. I don't know. And don't forget, go over to Instagram, MPEC Vendors over on Instagram. Follow, come back and click done, and you could be in a chance for winning this. And so I will catch you guys next week.